Hey, cleveland.com, meteorologist Kelly Reardon here in the office reporting on some of the severe thunderstorms that was just passing through downtown. It all started west. They released the severe thunderstorm warning at 4:30 when it went through Elyria, and it continued to move. These storms continued to move northeast into Cleveland. They just expired the severe thunderstorm warning, but as it was moving through these locations, there were 60-mile-an-hour winds. They were expecting penny-sized hail, very strong lightning. Now they're weakening a little bit, but they're still moving towards Chardon and Paynesville. They're still not severe thunderstorm warned at this point, but there is still a flood advisory out for southern Ashtabula County. Right now the winds aren't as fast. They're at about 50 miles an hour. There's no hail reports anymore, but there's a very strong line of storms that's going to continue throughout the entire night towards northeast Ohio. If you have any questions, please send them my way, and I'm more than welcome to answer any of them. National Weather Service just released a severe weather statement, so let's see what they have to say about that.
One of the commenters is wondering, well, someone's saying they're getting hit in Youngstown right now at 5:25. Someone's asking, is Geneva going to get hit? And is Chesterland being hit?
Yes. Yes, there's a big, long line of thunderstorms that's stretching across the entire northeast corner. So anywhere along here that's moving northeast is going to be hit by these strong storms, especially because they're going to encounter a little more moisture, so they shouldn't weaken too much. If anything, they would strengthen a little bit.
And what about down here in Canton?
The storms have moved past there, so you should be pretty good. Even the ones down here, they seem to be moving more northeast, so they should go right above it and miss Canton.
Vanessa is wondering if Cuyahoga Falls is affected?
Yes, definitely. They've got about 50 dBZs of rain right now, so that's pretty heavy rainfall.
Okay, keep your questions coming. Megan wants to know how the weekend is looking. She's in Put-in Bay, but we'll have to have her ask you to watch your weather reports for around the region.
Yes.
So yeah, if you have things going on in your area, feel free to say what you're seeing. Obviously, be safe. Don't try to get any pictures or reports for us that aren't safe. But Kimber is saying there's lots of trees down in Lakewood and lights out, and to drive careful.
Yeah, most likely the lines were struck by lightning, because there were lightning strikes a little lower now that the severe thunderstorm warning is out. But as for the weekend forecast, almost all of Ohio is seeing 100% chance of rain this weekend, because the storms now, and because of the storms are this weekend, are all because of this huge influx of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico right now. It's called moisture advection, which is why this week we've gone from a drought to severe thunderstorms, flood advisories, flood warnings. I can actually show you a great image of it. But the entire eastern seaboard has been hit with, let's see.
While you're calling that up, Kelly, Dan is wanting to know what the dew point is.
What the dew point is? Yeah, I can find that. Let's see.
I guess we'll delay for a moment.
So this is the huge influx of moisture that I was talking about. There are some very bad severe thunderstorms down in the southeast right now, but all the yellow here right now is acting as fuel to the fire with these storms. So a cold front moving through is a great trigger for light rain or light storms, but moisture acts as fuel, and it really makes them more unstable, and it gives them the gas to kind of kick up into like severe strength, and that's why we had flood advisories. So a normal front passage, you would see some light showers, but this great moisture influx from the Gulf of Mexico is really what's strengthening these storms to severe that we've seen all week. Let's look at the dew points. I know you wanted to look at that. So moisture, dew point. So it looks like the dew point is around 75. That's pretty good. That is a lot of moisture right now, which makes sense because when it's raining outside, the air is mostly saturated, so you're going to see relative humidity values between 80 and 100%.
Okay, Tej wants to know how the weather is looking at Beechwood for the next couple of hours.
Beechwood. Let's see. I don't know where Beechwood is. It's one setback to being new to the area. Okay.
All right, so if you call up Northeast Ohio.
This is as far zoomed in as I can get.
Oh, okay.
For the model forecast. Radar I can get much closer,
Yeah,
but if he wants to look further.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, for the next
couple hours, yes.
Next couple hours, right east of Cleveland.
Okay, so
your eastern suburbs.
So it's looking like it'll be clear by, this is 23Z, so this would be 7 o'clock.
Okay.
That it's probably going to clear out by.
And Sharon is in Concord Township, near Geauga, a little bit farther out east, and is hoping that they need rain. Any chance of getting a lot of rain here?
Where is she, around here?
Yes, right in this area.
So right now the rainfall rates, there was a flood advisory there early for rainfall rates up to 4 inches an hour. So depending on how fast these storms are moving, you could probably see, they're not moving too fast anymore, but probably about 2 inches tonight.
Okay, so the area around Cleveland Heights, which is where I happen to live, so I know this, but they've been without power since Monday evening, Tuesday night when the storm rolled through. Someone's wondering if Coventry, which is in Cleveland Heights, just east of Cleveland, if there's a good chance that they'll lose power again. Obviously, we don't, we can't predict power, but in terms of the severity of the storm.
It definitely does have the ability to strike there, but there's no way to forecast exactly where lightning could strike, because even when there's lightning conditions up in the atmosphere, it really depends on the electrical channels it's trying to get through. So it depends if there's a lightning rod, it depends if there's a tall tree, it depends if there's a tall building. So it really depends on the environmental conditions around where you're staying.
Okay. Austin's got a good question. He's wondering what you're using on your laptop to track all of this. He says he wants to be a meteorologist when he grows up.
So I'm using a program called SimuAWIPS, which is very similar to the program the National Weather Service uses. So I worked at the National Weather Service for 2 years when I was in college, and I had great experience working with this. And this program allows me to pull up anything and everything. So this is a list of different radar. Do you want to get some of this? This is a list of different radars that I can look at. There's base reflectivity, which is what I'm looking at now. Base velocity is whether the storms are moving towards or away from the radar. So red is moving away and green is moving towards. This is a really cool tool for when you're forecasting for tornadoes. You would all of a sudden see green in here, but luckily we're not seeing any of that right now. You can see composite reflectivity, which is looking high up in the atmosphere, but usually it's best to use base when you're doing immediate forecasts. But there's all sorts of things you can do.
And a lot of people are wondering about certain cities, so maybe we can jump back into that. How is Menor looking? Someone already lost a huge tree on Tuesday night, and that would be out in this area right
Yeah,
here.
those storms will probably hit you in less than maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So they're headed right towards that area.
Okay. Strongsville, wondering about Strongsville. Have they already passed through there?
Yes, Strongsville will definitely be clear. This storm right here could just pass it, but it's looking like it'll go right to the south, but still moving northeast.
Okay. Timothy has a 6 o'clock tea time in Canton, and he's wondering if he should cancel it.
Canton's looking pretty good. I think you're going to be just fine. It's 5:30. Yeah, Canton, you should be very clear, so no worries about your tea time.
Okay, there's a lot of updates coming in, which we appreciate. People are saying that it's sunny and dry in Vermilion. Apparently, all this is unconfirmed, obviously, but no power in Rocky River. South Euclid is starting to get rain, which sounds like they're right in that storm. Kelly, where is the strongest storm right now?
Right now it looks like it's just to East Cleveland, in this area right here. This has the greatest density of highest DBZ, where DBZ is like almost like an echo strength. So the darker the color, the more dense the rain is, so the heavier it is. Once you start seeing stuff like hail, like which we saw at around 4:30, you'll see the DBZ start getting so strong that it'll start turning white in the middle, and this means that there's such a high density precipitation that there's a really good chance there's hail, and that's when National Weather Service meteorologists know when to send out a thunderstorm or severe thunderstorm warning versus just a statement saying that there's strong thunderstorms. So they radar confirmed hail earlier, which is why the warning was sent out. But now that there's no more hail, the winds have slowed down a little bit, they've canceled the warning, so the strongest part of the storms are definitely out of the way, but the strongest of what we have right now would be to the northeast of Cleveland.
Okay, and there's some questions about Hudson and Painesville. We talked about those briefly, but looking on the map here, people can see Painesville. It's headed toward you.
Yep,
in
it's
a bit.
headed right in this direction. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what effect does the storm have over the ocean, over the lake?
So waves are actually mostly generated by winds. So since there's strong winds over there right now, you could definitely see waves up to 3 feet. I think when I looked at the forecast earlier, they were forecasting waves 1 to 3 feet. But they're not as strong over the lake right now. So if this was over the water, you could see waves probably about 4 or 5 feet. But since these are an area of light rain with maybe a little bit of lightning, the waves wouldn't be too intense.
All right, question how Illyria's looking. Looks like they're just out of the...
Yep, Illyria's out of the way. They were one of the first ones to see the severe thunderstorm warning earlier, though.
Okay.
So they probably saw some hail.
Sandy is wondering, she has an event at the Cleveland Zoo. How's the outlook looking for that? We don't know what time the event is, but presuming it's maybe, let's say, 7 o'clock.
It should, so all these storms are pushing east, and there's no more trigger to start any more of the storms to the west. So it should be good for the rest of the night. However, Friday morning, there's another front moving through, so you can see chances starting as early as 7 o'clock, and then after that, the moisture is not going to stop, so you're going to see rain chances all the way until Monday evening. But if it's tonight and it's towards the west, that you should be mostly okay.
Okay, a couple other reports coming in from our weather watchers out there. Don says Burton, just in Geauga County, is looking pretty dark, and it's starting to thunder, which would make sense with those lines,
Yeah,
right?
it's headed right in your direction,
Okay.
headed right northeast.
The Feast of the Assumption starts Friday night, just in Cleveland, near Cleveland Heights, and Tox is in East Cleveland. Says it's not too bad over there right now. He's real close to the feast. Also, Nancy says it's raining cats and dogs in Northfield. Gina says there's no power in North Olmsted. Jordan is wondering how much Beechwood will be affected. Beechwood is probably either coming over right now or just passing.
It seems like they've definitely got one of the stronger parts of the storms, but I wouldn't say it's strong enough for hail or severe thunderstorm warning, so it's just going to be some winds. You might see some branches blowing around, but nothing too intense. I wouldn't say any trees should be down in that area.
Okay, I know we talked about it some, but Cleveland Heights, they got hit real hard the other night. How does this storm compare to the one a couple of nights ago?
The one a couple of nights ago had much stronger winds, and they had, since there's stronger winds, there was actually more moisture, and the more moisture there is, the more ability there is to have something called microbursts. And these are very strong, very localized channels of really strong down-moving air. So all the damage you saw, the heavy down trees, the down power lines, those were all victim areas of these microbursts. These storms so far don't seem to be strong enough to have those. You really have to have a good vertical setup of the clouds to get a really the really good movement of the downward air. So there might have been 1 or 2 microbursts, but I would say that only would have been back in Elyria when the storms were at severe strength. But right now they've weakened quite a bit, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay, Cliff Pinkard, who works on our staff, he lives in the Chardon area, says it's coming down real hard in Menor right now. Okay. And then Joyce would like to know on the screen that we've been looking at what the yellow means.
So yellow is like the in-between between torrential downpour and light rain. So all the blues and the greens would be like pretty light rain, probably would still want an umbrella, but you're not going to get soaked. Red is torrential downpour, and medium is it's a moderate level of rain. It's just where the rain is heavier than all these little outskirts area, but definitely strong enough to need an umbrella. But I wouldn't say you could never get flooding in an area where there's yellow. Where you would get flooding, you would see very strong DVZs in red.
Okay, and is this a preview of what's more to come the next couple days?
Yes, so Saturday and Sunday actually will probably be worse than today. Friday there's a 60% chance of rain the entire day, but there's not as much moisture as we'd see this weekend, so if there would be storms, they may become severe, but they would be pretty scattered. But Saturday and Sunday there is a cold front moving through. And that is going to trigger storms, and with this great influx of moisture I talked about coming from the Gulf of Mexico, the entire eastern seaboard, all of Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois, DC, New York, they're all going to see some very strong storms throughout the entire weekend, and it might not even end until Monday night. So all of this storminess is definitely not over yet.
Okay, and again, we're with cleveland.com meteorologist Kelly Reardon. She is new to the area, so bear with her. She's looking at cities and such. But if you have questions, post them in the comments, and we will get to them. Christina is asking how Medina is looking.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, so you probably just saw the end of your storms. They're moving east now, so this was you. Wow, you got lucky. You just missed. Medina just missed all of the storms, so you should be good. Good for the evening.
Okay. Someone, Mark in Euclid, is saying we didn't get enough rain in Euclid. We need a lot more. And he would be just maybe in the green there, getting a little bit. How much more rain likely is?
So you probably think you didn't see enough rain simply because of how fast these storms are moving. Right now they're moving at around 25 miles an hour, so it probably rained a good amount, but it was only for a couple minutes. So I'm sure you want more, but it's definitely out of the area, and you're probably not going to see anything until tomorrow morning.
Okay, and if you have questions, keep them coming here in the comments. Kelly, why don't we go through Menor? Are they now in the severe part? Are they, what's the status?
The severe part is over. So these storms are not severe anymore because the wind is not strong enough and there's no more hail with these storms. So in order to be labeled as a severe thunderstorm, the winds have to be at least 58 miles per hour, and there has to be some evidence of possible hail in the radar echo. Seeing as they can look up wind observations from airports around the area, they know the winds are not at 58 miles per hour anymore. And the radar echo is not strong enough to produce hail. So these may still be strong storms, but they're not severe enough to send out a warning.
Okay, Janice is wondering, generally in this area, is this it for the evening, or could there be another wave coming later tonight or overnight?
There could be another wave coming tonight, but I would say it would be very late, probably after midnight. But tomorrow there's a 60% chance the entire day. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, there's gonna be a 60% chance, and it's supposed to last throughout the entire weekend. So basically the environment is really favorable to rainstorms because of this moisture. So until this huge amount of moisture moves out of the area, there's going to be constant chances of rain.
Okay, Clark says it's pouring in Novelty. Also, good question to segue into. Sam and Mark want to know what is the best time to go to the Feast of the Assumption in Little Italy, just on the east side of Cleveland. It goes on Friday through Monday, but they're wondering about Saturday, if there is a good pocket to go.
I'm sorry to say Saturday is actually the worst day to go. There's probably about an 80% chance of rain on Saturday, and Sunday it goes down a little bit, but right now Sunday is still at a 50% chance. So if you do really want to go, what I would do is pull up the radar image. You can go to cleveland.com/weather, and the first thing you will see.
Why don't we show that if we can?
Yeah, okay. So I just typed in cleveland.com/weather, and right here you can see this radar loop. So, oh, it's moving down. So right before you go, I would just do a quick radar check. If it's looking clear, then you should be good for at least a couple hours. But I mean, if it's lit up, I would definitely not suggest it. But this weekend, we're at really good chances of severe thunderstorms. So even if the storms look like they're far away, lightning can strike 25 miles away from the storm. So you always want to be careful when going outside during storms, no matter how far away they are.
Okay, he says he'll bring an umbrella. And Karen has a good question. She just tuned into the broadcast and is wondering about the Indians game tonight.
Here, let me take a quick look for you. Indians game is at 7, correct?
Yes.
There's still a 50% chance. Let me pull up an...
Did you say 50?
There's 50% chance, but let me pull up an atmospheric model and see what it's looking like for you. So 7 would be 23... So this is the radar. This is the model forecast of the radar for 7 p.m. in Cleveland. It's looking like most of it will be to the east. A lot of this stuff you see right here is kind of the model forecast over forecasting a little bit. Sometimes it thinks storms are going to blow up all over the place, and really you have to focus on these stronger areas. So although it may look like there's a little bit here at 7 o'clock, they're most likely moving out of the area. So it's looking like it should be okay.
Okay, and we're maybe a mile from Progressive. Here's a little shot outside our window. This is Superior and 18th. Okay, we've got about 3 minutes or so left. If you want to get a question in, please send it in soon here. Danielle is wondering if it's going to be clear to see the meteor shower tomorrow night out by Chardon.
So I would actually go see the meteor shower tonight, not tomorrow night. It peaks tonight. The best time to go see it is after, it's really late, but after 1 o'clock in the morning is actually the best time to see it. But even though the storms are going to be out of the way, there really is going to be some cloudiness, which might block the meteor shower. But if you're really intent on seeing it, you can, NASA is actually live streaming it on their website, so you can go and watch it from there, because I know I'm really interested in it, but a lot of places are going to be super cloudy tonight, so you might not be lucky enough to see anything.
Okay, and as we wrap up, why don't you give a final report for the 7-county area, what's coming tonight?
Okay, so these storms are still moving pretty fast at about 25 miles an hour, but they're moving northeast. So anything below this line probably won't see anything for at least not till tomorrow morning. But there's a very strong line, probably these storms formed across a gust front, and they're moving northeast, but they don't seem to be strengthening too much. So I would say we're probably clear on severe thunderstorm warnings, but I would always have your phone government alerts enabled, so you can always be alerted just in case.
Okay, and the storm is traveling which direction?
Northeast. So here, I'll rewind. So this is the radar moving forward. So backwards, forward. So they're moving in a northeastward direction.
Okay. What do you say bye from?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing Facebook Live today. I hope I was able to clear some things up for you. Had a lot of fun. Please follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm probably going to still be tweeting for the rest of the night, so you can keep a watch out to see what's going on. And thank you so much. I'm meteorologist Kelly Reardon.